Hey guys, Ryan Fowler here. Yet another episode of Inner Masculine Live. We're going to hit toxic shame today. I've talked about toxic shame on and off in the past. Honestly, if you can get this out of you and get genuine, true self-belief in you, it solves everything. Or it solves, let's say, a massive amount of issues. So, the brightest minds in our society today are waking up to this. I'm going to show you 3 clips. One guy's worth 500 million. His clients, he's trained people who are now worth over $1 trillion using his system. Another lady, six #1 New York Times bestseller. She is a research professor at the University of Houston and has all these endowments and other chairs and stuff. That's Brene Brown. Dan Pena is the first one. And then Sean Stephenson, who he passed away a few years ago. Cheers. Jay Lee, welcome to the show. Passed away a few years ago, but he was born with this bone deformity and just a tremendous amount of pain. He's 3 feet, despite being only 3 feet tall in a wheelchair, massively deformed. You'll see his talk. He managed to become a multimillionaire, get a PhD in hypnotherapy, among all things. Good for him. And he managed to get married. His girl was probably about a 6, but she was a very high quality 6. And he was like a sexual market value. Like you look at him, you're like, this guy's -5. So he had his inner world straight. He was able to get an attractive woman, very high quality woman as a wife, among other things. So he's just a walking testimonial looking at this 3-foot tall guy. He gave a TED talk in Folsom Prison. So we're going to look at that. And I think it is appropriate for me to cover toxic shame and how to cure it, because it is the core of what I do. It is the core of addiction. That's Healing the Shame That Binds You, the book by John Bradshaw. Read that. Add it, addiction specialists know toxic shame is the core of addiction. He was an alcoholic, John Bradshaw, who recovered. It is, you're going to hear what these high-value luminaries say about how core getting your self-esteem right, getting your self-belief right, belief in your ability and value, self-efficacy, all of that. You get that right, that's a key to everything. You're going to hear key to everything. You're going to hear Dan Pena, who's worth $500 million, has trained his people he's trained collectively worth $1 trillion. He's $1 trillion man. So we're going to go over all that, and yeah, probably once a month, I need to do a show on toxic shame, because it's so core. It's so central. It's the core problem to a ridiculous amount. It's the core issue, or the core root cause of ridiculous amount of problems. And when you cure it, and what I specialize in is getting toxic shame out of you, replacing it with, how'd you like the book, Jay Lee, the ebook? Put it in the comments if you can. I hope you liked it. And that goes on to my next thing I'm going to talk about in just a moment. But I tell people 90% of people have toxic shame. Brene's going to say 100% of people have it. If you want your mind working for you instead of against you, it's the #1 thing all of us need to address. That is the core of what I do. If you watch my testimonials, my client interviews, clients I've helped, just massive change after massive change after massive change. I'm focusing on this because I have answers that people need that I don't see anyone else offering. I don't see anyone else having these answers. So we're going to talk about the problem that these experts know about, and then I'll tell you guys about the solution to the problem, which they either don't know about it. Dan Pena says you're born with high self-esteem. You're not. So obviously he has no idea how to fix it. Or they use inferior techniques, in my humble opinion. But before we do that, wanted to let you guys know, now I need to update my website this week. I have 2 web developers. I can't find either of them right now, so it's a little lagging. But I do have my ebook. It is done. And so you see in the lower left-hand corner, innermasculine.com/free-ebook. Go there right now. Put in your email. You'll get the ebook. Might take a few days to get it to you. I have to automate that. And again, my web guys are incognito. So, but here we go. We've all heard of our subconscious. Most people know it's very important. No one knows how it works. No one knows how it works, how it's affecting you. You may have like a little really vague idea, but no one's really laid out the fundamentals of this most important thing. So many people spend time on, I'm going to use conscious techniques to fix my issues. This is the so-called gold standard of mainstream therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, cognitive all-conscious mind. Science has established 95% of our behavior is in the subconscious. Modern day, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, that's the normal psychology. They're using conscious methods to affect your subconscious. Like, let's fix your engine by working on your brakes. Doesn't make it's the best they can do. Science has been progressing along. Well, there's new stuff now. You can work directly on your subconscious. But before you do that, you have to understand the blueprint of how it works, how it's holding you back. Why does your subconscious keep you stuck? How can you get your subconscious working for you, motivating for you forward, so you could be a guy like Dan Pena or Tom Bill if you want? I mean, I don't want to be worth 500 million. They are. Because I don't want to work 80 hours a week. I do 50, 55. That's a lot of work. I like to enjoy time too. So, it's not about, being the best, the smartest, the strongest, whatever. It's about believing in yourself, getting what you want. And if you believe in yourself and get what you want, you will be contributing to the world. And I'm talking, you have a healthy internal world. If your internal world's not healthy, you might be taken from the world. You probably will be. Probably could be doing more harm than good. It just depends. But this is going to lay it out. It's going to lay out where 95% of your behavior comes from, is determined by. Now, if you see on chapter 9 here, the 5 types of subconscious trauma, it's just 5 types. It applies differently to everyone. Some people have 2 of these, some have 1, none, 4, all 5. This is what I work with. Getting these bad core beliefs out. You notice the top 3 are toxic shame. That's what we're talking about today. I'm not good enough. Toxic shame, number 1 in chapter 9. I don't belong or fit in. Number 2, I cannot get or have what I want or keep it. So we're going to go over that today. We're going to talk about these very, very high level luminaries, leaders in their fields today. And they know about toxic shame. And so we're going to talk about it and then go to the solution. But if you go to innermasculine.com/free-ebook, you can actually see how your subconscious mind is affecting you and understand what is going on. So without further ado, I'm going to start playing excerpts from some clips. The first one is Dan Pena. And I actually have some kind of biographies here of them, so you guys know what heavy hitters these guys are, because these people are all heavy hitters. So we're about to show a clip from Dan Pena, net worth $500 million. But even more importantly, he's called the $1 trillion man because, I don't know if this has... this doesn't kind of sing his praises, but I know I was just on something that did. So let's go back, if it will. Come on. Daniel Pena, founder of Quantum Leap Advantage. Over 29 years, grooming other people to be massively successful businessmen, and it's produced over $1 trillion worth of equity and value with his mentees and devotees since 1993. If you want to know his net worth, it's around 500 million. So, oops. And so I'm just kind of laying the foundation so you know this guy is a heavy hitter. And he's very popular on the internet. Net worth 500 million right there. Boom. All right. So enough of that. Now we're going to go to the clip. And it's a good clip. He doesn't know how to fix toxic shame, but he knows how high self-esteem is on one end of the spectrum. Toxic shame, I'm not good enough, I don't have worth, anything along those lines is on the other end of the spectrum. He's going to talk about that. He's not going to call it toxic shame, but it's pretty clear what he's talking about. So I love this guy's style. He's pretty harsh, but he's just absolutely no fluff, absolutely 100% truth. And I agree with 99% of what he says. So here we go. And hey, he's worth 500 million, worth listening to.
You ever seen a 3-year-old unhappy? Unless they've soiled their nappies, they're all happy, aren't they? Giggle, giggle, yeah, right? Has anybody tell 3 years old? Okay, now 7 years old, same thing. They're all happy. Then what happens? By the way, self-esteem is built the first 7 years of life. You either have it or you don't.
I say it's first 8, 7, whatever. He says here, you either have self-esteem or you don't. That's not true. You can get it. I give it to people all the time. Like down in their core, I give it all the time. I help people get it all the time. It's what I do.
Self-esteem is the basis of all high performance.
Did you hear that? Self-esteem is the basis of all high performance. That is true. So for everyone watching this, take a good look inside. How's your self-esteem doing? If it's not that great, if you don't believe you're good enough, if you don't believe in your ability and value, if you don't believe that you can plow through all failures, learn and grow in the process until you achieve the massive success, just like Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times in inventing the light bulb, kept going, finally achieved it. Now everyone knows who he is. 150 years later, people know who Thomas Edison is because he plowed through the failures to get to the success. If you don't have that belief in your core, you don't have the basis of what it takes to have massive success and happiness. I mean, you can still be happy, but you're going to be impeded to a point if you don't believe in your ability and your inherent value. Dan Pena knows this. What I do is I get it in you and keep going. This is the basis of success. If you don't have it, then your foundation is not good. And if your foundation's bad, what are the chances of building a strong building that won't have cracks in it, that won't have issues down the road? Well, I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to get this good foundation, this good basis.
You either feel good about yourself. Nobody loves me more than I love myself.
100%. I teach this and I put this in people because you matter and no one's going to put you first except for you. Because you matter, someone should put you first. You're the one to do it. No one else will do it or can do it as well as you. He's just echoing what I say all day, every day. He knows. This guy knows. He's generated over $1 trillion of equity. Over 29 years. He knows. He's seen these patterns over and over and over again. And his students, the ones who failed and the ones succeeded, he's seen this over and over again. 29 years training guys.
You can't be a good human being unless you love yourself. Love yourself first, then you love everybody else.
100%. He's dropping truth bombs. I agree 100%. It's true.
I can just tell by looking at the audience, we have a lot of Save the World kids. Great. Absolutely fucking terrific. But Bill Gates didn't start saving the world till he made $850 jillion. None of those guys, Warren Buffett, you name it, didn't give a shit about the world until they made $852 jillion. So I tell the kids, go out and make the $852 jillion, then save the fucking world.
Now, I don't 100% agree with him. Thomas Edison was not worth $180 cajillion dollars. Neither was Albert Einstein or many of the other great leaders of our time, Abraham Lincoln, just whoever. But most of them were not worth that much. But they were all successful in their own right. And success is not solely measured by how much money you make, although it is important. I don't think you got to be a 50 billionaire to change the world. Elon Musk is doing it. That's one way you can change the world, but you can also influence the world. Being successful absolutely helps. It's not the only factor. And I think that's a mistake he's making. But whatever, we'll keep going.
Hang around with cripples, you learn how to limp.
All right. I don't know what that last part he said was. We'll play it.
I can just None of those guys, Warren Buffett, you name them, didn't give a shit about the world until they made $852 jillion. So I tell the kids, go out and make the $852 jillion, then save the fucking world. You hang around with cripples, you learn how to limp.
You hang around with cripples, you learn how to limp. He's talking about surround yourself with good friends. And yes, absolutely critically important. So let's keep going. There's that guy. So many people, the luminaries all know this. You got to have self-esteem. You got to believe in yourself. He says it's the basis, the foundation of success, 100%. Loving yourself, taking care. Rollo Tomasi, make yourself your own mental point of origin. You got to do it. So here's another luminary. I'm going to show you. These are cutting edge. These are the big influencers in society. Her clip is on 60 Minutes. She's being interviewed on 60 Minutes. She has 6 #1 New York Times bestsellers. Brene Brown. She is a professor at University of Houston. There's some very interesting things here. She studies, so she's a psychologist studying courage and vulnerability. Interesting how those are together. Shame and empathy. Those are her big core focus studies. And one thing, she's a Huffington Foundation endowed chair, holds that. University of Texas at Austin, blah, blah, blah. 2 decades studying courage, vulnerability, 6 #1 New York Times bestsellers. I'm letting you guys know this so you see that these are people at the leading edge, so that you understand when they say what they say, which is what I say, it is incredibly important. Getting this in you is more important than a fucking self-help book, okay? You need this first so that you can take advantage of what is in that self-help book. And if you don't have this at your core, you're gonna struggle. Bottom line. So this is very interesting what she says. Here's her bio, and then we'll show you her clip. I believe you have to walk through vulnerability to get to courage. Now there's actually a clip we played, me and 3 other certified hypnotists on every Saturday, except none of them can do it last Saturday, so I didn't have a show. But we talked about vulnerability. You can go back. It's in one of the live shows. And vulnerability is staying authentic even when you're struggling. It's not being weak. Vulnerability is staying authentic and keeping it real. So you're not covering up your weaknesses. You are working on them, fixing them, and keeping it real. It's very endearing to others when you are authentic, even when your authenticity shows you are less than perfect. That's okay. You're keeping it real. It doesn't mean, vulnerability does not mean you just, oh, look at me, I'm a victim. Oh, look at all my wounded. You don't throw it on people. You're not looking to show it to people. You're just keeping it real. You're keeping it real. The fact that you're a human being and you're not perfect, but you're working on it. It's authenticity. I believe you have to walk through vulnerability to get courage. Therefore, embrace the suck. And one of the issues with our society, you see this in the red pill. You see a lot of people who are fakers and posers. Now, there are some people that are the real deal. I'm not saying there's not. There are some people in the red pill space that are real deal, but there's fakers and posers who cover their weaknesses. I kind of sort of in some ways lead with my weaknesses, but I lead with my past, which, manic depression, all that. I talk about all that. I think that's why I connect with a lot of my audience. A lot of people know I get them because of what I've been through. So anyways, this is part of being vulnerable. I don't believe cussing and praying are mutually exclusive. You keep it real. You don't use nice words in prayer. If you're into prayer, you say what's really on your mind. That's part of vulnerability. It's just vulnerability is keeping it real. That's what it is. Keeping it real when things go to shit. That's vulnerability. It's not blabbing your weaknesses and then expecting other people to help you out. That's not it at all. So, all right, let's play this clip. This great clip. So this lady, leading thinker, she's a heavyweight, 100%. 6 #1 New York Times bestsellers. Here's what she's going to talk about. And she knows toxic shame is a massive, 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 massive issue. It's one of her core studies. Listen to this 60 Minutes interview.
Is we have a visceral response to the word. And shame is not a let's study this and talk about those people who have it. Like you have it, I have it, and no one wants to talk about it.
So define it. Is it what we all think shame is?
You know, it's by definition, I think what emerged from the data for me is it's the deeply painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed.
Boom, toxic shame right there. We'll keep going. She says guilt. You'll see.
And somehow unworthy of connection, love, and belonging.
And
that's toxic shame number 1 and 2 she just described. If you go to my ebook.
everybody experiences this.
Everybody, it's a universal emotion.
Is it different from guilt?
Very different from guilt. So shame is really a focus on self, while guilt seems to be a focus on behavior. So shame, I am bad. Guilt, I did something bad. So just an example. I'm your teacher and I give you.
Now, John Bradshaw and some other luminaries in this sphere say shame is I did something bad, and toxic shame is I am bad. It's just semantics. When I say toxic shame, that's her talking about shame. And what others say shame may be her definition of guilt. But toxic shame, absolutely, that's the core of what she's talking about. She says we all have it, and it's a huge issue. Here we go. Some people have it way worse than others. They come to me and I'm not 100% success rate, but I'm about 95%, meaning I can help people substantially, and I do.
Your test back, and you get a 47 out of 100. Shame self-talk would be, God, I'm so stupid, I'm an idiot. Guilt self-talk would be, God, it was really stupid not to study for that. Man, not a good idea to go out last night.
Do you guys see the difference? One is tied to your identity. I'm stupid, I'm lazy. So if you believe that is about yourself, it causes problems. In fact, I'm going to bring up an article by the author of Atomic Habits. It sold 10 million copies worldwide that talks about identity. It's going to lay out why you got to get toxic shame out of you and replace it with a deep core belief in your inherent value and ability.
When we can focus on behavior, we are much more likely to respond with empathy and actually change. But it's like, one of the questions I get from parents all the time is like, my kid lied to me. And so I looked at my kid and I said, you're a liar. And
that's terrible, because that is tying shame. That's tied to their identity. You're a liar. That's not the right way to parent. Everything she's saying is true. We don't ignore that I did something wrong. I made a mistake. We don't tie it to our value and our identity. That's where it causes problems, and it causes huge problems.
And that's very shaming, right? You're a liar, not you told a lie and that's unacceptable and here are the consequences for telling a lie. When we
listen up, parents, she's dropping truth bombs, and these are hardcore, very important truth bombs.
Call ourselves or other people liars or losers or, stupid.
How many dudes do this in the red pill? How many so-called red pill coaches? You're a loser. You're not high value. Myron Gaines, you're a fat piece of shit. Literally call that a guy on his show. Just terrible behavior. I'm not shaming it. I'm not shaming his identity. His behavior is terrible. See, there's a difference.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Where do you go from there? As opposed to, look, you're a great kid, but you lied, and that's completely not okay.
That's the way you do it, parents.
And here are the consequences for lying. And if it happens again, here are the consequences. So
that's the way you do it. Don't shame their identity. Of course there's discipline and consequences. You're a great kid. I love you, but boom.
When we are able to separate a focus on self and a focus on behavior, we're much more likely to be able to change the behavior.
By the way, this lady also a business professor and uses psychology to help people succeed in business. She uses all these tools and sees business people take off. She has quantifiable data that this is the way to do it.
If we catch one of our kids saying, God, I'm so stupid when they're doing their homework, no. You can say, God, I'm confused. I'm lost. I don't know what's happening, but I'm stupid is not going to work. We just don't talk to each other or ourselves like that in this house.
And what I would say is you can say, I'm lost and confused, but I think I can find the answer. Let's find the answer. And go to ask someone for help if you need to, or Google it. Okay, that's heavyweight number 2. These people know it. These people are at the top of our society. They know this stuff. They don't know how to fix it like I do. I'm just being honest. I'm way better at it, at actually fixing it, than they are. And it's only a matter of time before this gets massive, because I got receipts. I got the results. You can watch my testimonials right now. Let's get to some of these comments. Maybe I sound like I'm bragging, but you know what? I can back it up. Watch the testimonials. I got receipts. I can back it up. And so I'm not going to shy away the fact that my methods are awesome, and other people are learning my methods and they're getting amazing results as well. I'm not going to shy away from that. It's amazing. I'm shouting it to the world. It's the whole fucking reason I have a YouTube show. Pardon my, I watched Dan Pena earlier. Now I'm dropping F-bombs. Easy Smooth, my man. Brent, Jay Lee, regulars, welcome to the show. Oh, familiar with them all. Well, Jay Lee, you're the man. You are an enlightened human being then. Good for you, man. This is important stuff, because this has to do with the foundation of what leads to your success, happiness, or ultimate failure and misery. I'm not concerned about interim failures. You learn and grow from interim failures. I'm talking ultimately. You heard what Dan Pena said. I'm just echoing what he said 10 minutes ago. All right. So, by the way, I had a clip I thought was pretty funny that kind of shows, listen, just because someone has a YouTube show in the red pill doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. There are just, there's a lot of red pill guys that really know their stuff overall. The red pill just means facts that society ignores that you need to know. That's basically what it is, that you need to know. It focuses on intersexual dynamics, but really, it's funny how they think this thing in the Matrix that talked about all of society being lied to. Oh, no, it only applies to intersexual dynamics. Shut the hell up. It does not just apply to intersexual dynamics. That's not where the term came from. Do you think the Matrix is about intersexual dynamics? Come on, guys. It has been used in the manosphere with relation to intersexual dynamics, but really, in any truth that society tries to hide or ignore, they're blue pill, it's red pill. So let's embrace, if it helps you, let's embrace it. This is a red pill right here. This is red pill 2.0, the power pill, whatever you call it. I'm giving you facts. That society is eventually coming around. You know what? 20 years from now, society's probably going to say feminism. That was a big mistake. 20, 30 years from now, they're probably going to say that, because things go in cycles. That's just how it is. They'll go from very sexually promiscuous. 50 years from now, maybe they're doing traditional marriage again, or maybe not traditional marriage, but something else where they realize, we can't just have our women like trying, wait until 35 to get married and then shock when no one wants them, or they can't have, or they're infertile, or they have children with lower IQs. I mean, that's just facts. That's biology. Society's eventually going to catch up to that. They're going to figure all this stuff out. Yes, correct. The red pill is an umbrella term that is overused. And a lot of these, I'm going to show you this clip. A lot of these people, I'm red pill, I have a YouTube channel. And some of these people watch it and take it as gospel for that fact. And so I'm going to show you a clip. I actually I don't agree with everything Real Femme Sapien says, but she comments on something here that kind of made me laugh, but it's kind of like super true, just showing how ridiculous some red pill commentator. Again, a lot of red pill guys are freaking awesome. But there's some dudes out there that just say dumb crap like they know what they're talking about, and they don't. So I'll show you this just kind of as a one-off, and then we'll get to the Sean Stephenson quote, which is absolutely amazing. This just cracked me up. Don't take all red pill stuff as gospel. The reason I have client interviews and testimonials is to show you I got receipts that my stuff actually works. If someone else doesn't have receipts, you better question it more carefully. I'm not saying they're wrong. But if someone doesn't have receipts, something to prove that what they're saying works and helps people, look at it extra carefully before just accepting it as gospel. So this made me laugh. Here's Real Femme. I think overall she's great. I don't agree with everything she says. I agree with like 85%, maybe 80%. Here we go.
Do not get married. 2.
This is a list of what Some red pill dude gave this list of what high value men should do. You need to do this to be alpha. It's like, it's such bullshit, but here we go.
Avoid family creation.
Yeah, okay. You avoid family creation, and then there's no human race in 70 years.
3, vasectomy
Again, no human race in 70 years.
in
Come
your
on.
20s. 4, lift consistently. 5, eliminate all sedations.
Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to relax. Eliminate all sedations. I think that's a bit extreme. I think many people have too many sedations, too much porn, too much video games, too much alcohol. Absolutely. And maybe those are the wrong types of sedations, but there's, you know, don't you just want to sit in front of the TV and chill out for 2 hours because you're tired? I mean, come on, where's the harm there? It's too extreme here.
6, learn a game and networking. 7, play to your strengths, build wealth. 8,
Okay, some of this is good. And working out, some of it's good. I work out.
resist easing up on your focus.
Yeah, that's unsustainable. Actually, everyone eases up on their focus from time to time. And if you don't, it's unsustainable. I have guys who come to me and they tell me how they work 70, 80 hours a week. They got all this stuff going on and they're working super hard and they feel great when they're doing it. And then they'll take anywhere from a week to a month where they crash and they view porn, smoke weed, play video games, and get drunk all day and zone out the world. So come on, you got to take some time off, guys. You got to have some fun in life. You know, I'm focused 100%. It's like, this is dumb shit people are saying here. Come on. You want to be focused, you know, you want to have times where you're really focused and you want to have times where you can just let loose. If not, the path is unsustainable. And the people who do this have problems. They come to me. They have problems with this mind. This is dumb what's being said. The person who said it isn't dumb, but they said a dumb thing. There you go. So not toxically shaming them.
Now, it sounds really good. It also
No, it doesn't.
sounds autistic.
Yeah, it also sounds autistic.
So the
True.
quickest path to becoming a high value man.
These rigid prescriptions, nah, the world ain't black and white. Come on.
Okay. And this is why you guys can't care too much when some of this stuff gets put out there. Like, you really, you know, you can't be like, oh, like, this is gospel. This is Bible. Wow. This is
Exactly. Some guy, oh, you say you're red pill and you have a YouTube show. I'm just going to believe you blindly. Come on.
groundbreaking. What is a
Don't do that.
high value man? Like, in what context? What's the definition? What is that? Because there's things you can do without this list that'll make you desirable. Certainly, like, without having to have a vasectomy. Do not get married.
Yeah. So, I had a thought. What was I going to say here? Allie's right. And, these rigid prescriptions, Rollo Tomasi himself says, I don't do prescriptions because what works for one guy won't work for another. There's some basic stuff. I agree with John MLD. Money, muscles, game, frame. Okay. That's really basic and it's broad. Those are broad topics. There's lots of room for flexibility and wiggle room. In fact, you may have a part of your life where you're working on money so hard that you only get to the gym once or twice a week. Okay, no problem. Then you get your money in line. You're like, now I'm going to focus on fitness. So you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it perfect. And here's something that some of you watching this might not understand. I think most do, but some might not. There's no perfect human being. And I think there's this expectation in the red pill. You got to be a top 2% guy or you won't get laid. You won't get any girls. And it's just bullcrap. It's just utter bullcrap. And it actually feeds into toxic chain, this expectation of, oh, you know, if you're not this practically a superhuman, then you're a loser, you know, or then you're not good enough. You're not high value. And it's no. So anyways, let's go on to the Sean Stephenson quote. So these prescriptions, these guys write, dumb stuff like that. Again, they're not dumb guys. They're misguided. I'm not going to toxically shame them because people are complex. It's not just, you know, even the highest value guys have flaws. Some of them pretty significant. They're still high value guys, you know. It's not this black and white thing. Okay, what if, you know, Dan Pena, worth 500 million, he's actually probably for his age pretty strong, because I think he had this story about fighting this bull and like killing the bull, and the bull gored him first or something. So he is pretty much a badass. But what if you're, you know, worth $500 million and you're not that strong? Does that make you beta? I mean, come on, you know, it's kind of, you know, people, I've literally heard people say that, you know, the Amazon, I can't remember his name. I know I should know his name. It's not Steve Jobs. It's the guy in charge of Amazon. I heard people actually call him beta. And it's like, dude, he may not be perfect. He may have some female issues he hasn't sorted out, but he is not beta. He started Amazon from scratch. He built it into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Same thing with Elon Musk. I mean, these guys are alpha as hell. They may not have their women issues sorted out, but don't call him beta. Come on. It's just, yeah, Jeff Bezos. I know who he is. I just brain farted. All right, so let's go to this final quip. This guy is like one of my personal role models, one of my personal heroes. He's 3 feet tall. I mean, he was born with this deformity, but he became a multimillionaire. He spoke at Tony Robbins events. He got paid $10,000 per speaking engagement. He got a PhD in hypnotherapy because he is a master of the inner world. The reason he managed to marry a girl and attract, you know, more or less attractive girl. She's not like a super hot babe, but she's a very high quality woman, very sweet, intelligent woman, and she's attractive. She's like a 6. He's like a -1 SMV. He got her. Why? Because he is like an inner game Yoda. This guy is an inner game Yoda. He was born with every single excuse to not excel in life, and he knocked it out of the park. So he knows what he's talking about. I love this guy. This guy is so awesome. Sean Stephenson. You guys should Google him. Google a picture of him and his wife. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So let me get to this clip. This is actually one of my favorite YouTube talks. This guy is such a stud. Love. He passed away a few years ago because he has brittle bones. He was born with brittle bones. So that's why he's deformed and short. And he fell, and his brittle skull broke and died of a concussion. Amazing human being, though. Look at this guy.
Then it's an attitude.
This guy's an alpha male. I don't care what anyone says. This guy is alpha is all get out.
It is a belief in yourself that you bring value to the human race, no matter what your current condition, title, or stature is. Because if I believe that I'm disabled, I would wither up. I would be shy. I would be insecure. I would be afraid. I would act like I need your help.
By the way, this guy has literally had people say that him being in a wheelchair was actually a benefit that made him the life of the party because it made him stand out. And he showed them, he's like, that's not the reason I'm the life of the party. He's like, watch this. And then he got a frown on his face. He kind of bowed his head down and just assumed this energy of this insecure guy. And then just everyone left him alone. Everyone left him alone. He was in the corner. No one is, 5 minutes before the life of the party. Now everyone just ignored him, left him alone. And people are like, oh, it's because you're in a wheelchair and you stand out that you're life of the party. It's like, no, it's because his inner game was freaking awesome. And he had amazing sense of his inherent ability, his inherent value. And that's what led him to become a multimillionaire, getting married to a woman massively more attractive than him. But he had inner game attraction. This is a foundation, man. This is a guy who shows you inner game is a foundation because he did not have anything in the outer world going his way, and he still became massively influential.
And the rest
He influenced Tony Robbins, a multi-billionaire. Tony will tell you that.
of humanity would be okay with that. But I choose something else. I choose to be strong. I choose to be a leader. I choose to have words to move this planet. I'll tell you why I was born. And I hope it inspires you to find out why you were born. I was born to rid this world of insecurity. Because when a human being is insecure,
I was born to rid this world of toxic shame.
they do stupid stuff. When we feel like we're not enough, we chase external validation and external objects to try to tell us we're enough.
And there are a shitload of these red pill dudes doing exactly that. They don't have good inner game. They don't have good core self-confidence. It's not their fault. Bad crap happened in their childhood. And now they're chasing external validation. Look at my Ferrari, look at my Lambo, look at this, that, and the other. But they got issues. Again, not everyone with Ferrari is like that. I used to have a 911 Turbo. I don't have a car at all now. Sometimes you just want a cool car. So I'm not, oh, there's a guy with a Ferrari, he must have insecurities. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying a lot of guys do. Not all, but a lot do. In the red pill space, they're using this to cover up what's in them. It's not 100% across the board. You can have a Ferrari and have massive self-esteem, but a lot of people use that to cover their inner game deficiencies. External validation to cover up the fact they don't feel good about themselves inside.
Thank you. You are enough. I'll tell you, I made a pledge as a therapist to love all human beings no matter what they've done. Because deep down inside, I found that every human being just wants to be loved. Even if they're tough.
Boom.
Even if they're scary, even if they're vicious, you get them in the right position at the right time, they'll tell you the truth. They just want to be loved. You know who they want the love from the most? Not their moms, not their dads, not their wardens, none of these people. They want to be able to look in the mirror and love themselves. And if you can...
That's the core. Get rid of that toxic shame. Look at my disclaimer. I teach people how to unconditionally love themselves, believe in their ability and value, because this will change your life. If you get this in your core, this changes your life more than anything else, period.
Figure that out, then you're going somewhere. But you cannot feel sorry for yourself. When you feel sorry for yourself, you will wither. But there's a contradiction to feeling sorry for yourself. At the opposite extreme, it's what I call bullying yourself, beating yourself up, being your own enemy and telling yourself that all those...
Don't beat yourself up. Don't let anyone else do it either. If they do, get them out of your life.
Predictions, those negative opinions, they're true, they're right. You're washed up failure. You're not going to amount to anything. Bullying yourself is the most dangerous thing that you could do. You cannot afford to pity yourself. You cannot afford to bully yourself. You have to love yourself. Because the last lesson that I'm going to share with you today, that is, I'm going to teach you what the real prison is. It's not surrounded by barbed wire, electrical fences. The real prisons do not have guards. The real prison's up here. And we all got it. We all have a mind that chatters. So often won't stop chattering. Do you know where your salvation is? It's not outside these walls. I've met so many people that are so extremely successful and famous that are in prison because they're stuck in their minds, bullying themselves, pitying themselves.
Kurt Cobain wrote a song, I Hate Myself, I Want to Die, then blew his head off. He had everything. Lead singer of Nirvana, hundreds of millions of dollars, sold out stadiums, all the women he wanted. He was in a prison of his own mind. That's what Sean Stephenson talking about. If you don't get this right, doesn't matter how much success you get. You got to get your foundation right. This is a foundation, the core, what everyone needs, period.
True freedom is dropping down out of that mind. And what my wife has taught me is drop into your heart, into mastering this beating thing that is more than just sending blood to the extremities. What is it doing? It's sending emotional possibilities, infinite possibilities of choice in our behavior, in our life, in our attitude.
Did you know science has found neurons on our heart, brain cells on our heart, processing emotion, among other things? That's science now.
When you love yourself, whether you're sleeping on a prison cot or in a mansion, whether you have food in your belly or you don't know when your next meal is coming, when you love yourself, when you learn to master your emotions, then and only then are you free. I love you, each and every one of you, and I wish you freedom within these walls. God bless.
Damn. So good. All right. So, I mean, they probably pretty much said it all. I wanted to show you guys that the leading thinkers of today, extremely successful people, everything else, they know this. Yeah, let's look at some. It is fire, man. Dude, this is the number one thing you guys got to get into your core. Get that toxic shame out. Get unconditional love, ability, and your value. It's what Dan Paling is, like the ultimate rich tough guy. He's like the ultimate rich tough guy. He's like tough as nails. He talks about self-esteem. You need it. It's the basis. You got to love yourself. He said that. Like this ultimate tough guy, like more successful than, you know, anyone in the red pill space, more successful than everyone in the red pill space combined. He's saying it. You know, that guy, he's red pill as hell. He doesn't call himself red pill, but he's super, super red pill. All right. Toxic shame is a big business. Telling people how dumb they are. Yeah. Because then if you feel not good enough, then you need external validation. You're going to buy these products to validate yourself, and it doesn't work. Yeah. So yeah, let's pick on this toxic shame, these insecurities. Hey, you're going to feel better about yourself if you get this product, if you do this, do that, you know, etc. No, it never works. You're just a Marilyn Monroe. Everyone loves her. Commit suicide. One of the most beautiful women in the world. Hit the hypergamy jackpot. Married a baseball legend. Relationship fell apart, of course, because their internal world was a mess. I don't know what his Joe DiMaggio. I don't know what his internal world was like, but hers was a mess. So doomed to failure. You know, it's an inside job. You got to fix your core first. No amount of outside success will work. Not, you know, no amount of, oh, wow, I have all these amazingly good-looking women. You can still feel terrible. Kurt Cobain, you know. So, you know, chasing women to feel good enough doesn't work. Chasing success to feel good enough doesn't work. I literally had someone tell me 4.5 months into the year, they already made 700 grand. They never made that much before. How do you feel? I feel not good enough. Literally told me that. And I was like, you made 700 grand in 4.5 months. You feel not good enough. Well, we fixed that. We got most or all of that out of this gentleman, but it just goes to show external stuff doesn't do it. Fix your core, man. And then you have a basis to become even more successful. But now you're successful and you're happy and you're going after what you want. Your life has purpose. Your life has tension. Listen to what these people say. They know what they're talking about. I know how to get you there. Not 100%, about 95. You know, there's some guys I can't help. It always sucks. It's a very small number, but I'm just keeping it real. There's other options for those guys. They can do EMDR and find a very good one because a lot of EMDR practitioners are undertrained and not doing it well. You can look at EMDR. There's certain psychedelics. You know, ketamine's legal. You can go to other countries where other type of psychedelics are legal. There's a Netflix show, How to Change Your Mind. Amazing show on psychedelics. What I like about hypnosis is we can do surgical precision, which EMDR does as well. Get the bad toxic shame out, but then replace it with very specific good subconscious programs. That's why I like hypnosis so much. It's the number one overall method, but there are some methods that person A might respond to something else better than hypnosis. I think hypnosis overall is the best, but it's not the best for every person. Someone might do way better on ketamine. You know, most people do best with hypnosis. Most people probably benefit from doing hypnosis and then trying out some of this other stuff too. Just keeping it real. So we got the solutions. Keep coming back. You know, you can always schedule a session with me, get my ebook. My self-hypnosis big program is coming out. It's already for certain select individuals. You can find out about it if you get my ebook and read about it. And, that's all she wrote. But you guys can get core self-belief, unconditional self-love in you as a foundation to then have a fantastic life. I show you what to do, but you actually do it. I'm just giving you the knowledge. Once you have the key of knowledge, you unlock your potential, and then you realize it's you doing all the work because you're the one with the power. You have more power than you know. That's our show. Thank you.